Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. It's kind of different today, but I don't think anything's changed, so I think we're good. All right, good morning. Well, it's still loading. You know what? Let's grab the links. This is a good time. This would be a good time. So, you've to go and find the links. I mean, I hate it when that happens. Auto plays the video, you know? Stop it, YouTube. Stop it. Okay, here we go. MQ taking no prisoners. Oh my. Here we are. Gonna have the open here in a second. Let's see here. Today's Tuesday. Oh, we have PPI. PPI, but they're expecting 0. Okay. All right. So anyways, any targets for Bitcoin 2000? That's the number we're still looking at. Man, it's still going down, is it? Why did I get so little anchor? I'm just going to reload the historical data here. It's interesting. There was not a ton of activity on the futures yesterday, the 10th. Yeah, it's still the same. That's kind of interesting. Well, that's not necessarily positive for Bitcoin either, right? So we came up. We had the huge rush down, and then we've had a couple of bounces up, and now we're still basically pretty close to the bottom, and there's not a lot of activity. That's not very positive for Bitcoin. So yeah, my target has been and always has been from like March or February or something like that, 2000. So you could it's likely to continue going down just based on value. No, we had a little bit of buying here on the open, but that just gets it back to the VWAP. Okay, well anyways, so now it's 6:21. Let's go through the charts. I'll make this big. Right, so yesterday in the E-mini, they had a pretty dramatic turnaround. So we started below really the kind of where the lows were before. Right, this 26,200 level or so. 2600 was really the support that people were looking to break, and we had a false breakout where it pushed through it and it came up. And now the indexes are pushing up quite aggressive. Not tomorrow. No, not 2000 tomorrow. It'll probably take until about, well, my guess is that it will take until around May for the Bitcoin market to bottom. It could even be longer than that. It kind of depends on the ecosystem itself. Like if Bitcoin Cash can recover from its huge disaster of a fork, then maybe we could bottom earlier. But that thing is really weighing on people. Like that you can have a fork and just completely destroy your ecosystem is a huge concern for people now that they're going to have to resolve, I think. and the Bitcoin is gonna have to keep falling in value until it reaches the point at which just the base ecosystem creates enough activity to justify its price, and right now we're not at that point. So that's why I say 2000, but it'll take a while. Yep. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Anyways, indexes are pushing up pretty aggressively, and you can really see the well, I'm not going to say really see, but the treasuries are coming off. So the number I'm going to be looking for here in ZB is 11. Yep. We're actually, right now, we're kind of on a positive, but because the indexes have gone up, I'm going to wait. I want to see them retest this bull bear zone. So for the time being, I'm going to be playing it range bound, I guess. So yeah, that's where we're at. And of course, there's the PPI number. So let's see if that creates any kind of interesting market activity. Man, I had, that cold last week, and now this week, I was getting over it, and then I stayed up super late on Saturday, and it's coming back a little bit. Sucks. All right, 5 minutes to the news. Oh, we need to open up our squawk. Where is it? There we go. There we go. I'll put this up here and this down here. Oops. Good deal.
By the I'll continue.
The EU just needs to stop being dicks about it. That's what needs to happen now. Because you're gonna throw the whole global economy. It's really like spite, cutting off your nose to spite your face, or whatever it is. Like, that's what the EU is doing. Like, they're idiots. If I was,
Minus 9. Month to month. November. Year-on-year figures and 2.5%.
I was one of the people in mainland Europe watching this, like if I was in Germany or France, I would be concerned at how the EU leadership is behaving. Don't you think? Am I off base there? Like, they're doing something really stupid and putting everybody at risk to kind of be spiteful, and I don't think that what they're doing is really necessary or beneficial to anybody. Anybody. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason, but it seems to me like they are more concerned with taking over Europe than they are with everybody's well-being. Two minutes.
geopolitical news. One minute. Ten seconds. %. On X. Your figures on to 2.5%. 10%.
Those are good numbers.
Month to month. 1%.
Those are good numbers.
Energy month to month. 0.3%. The export energy and figures 5%. Tweet now from President Trump, just looking over his staff nominations.
So the number was good as sold. We're right here. 115.5 was the open, so I think that we're going to stay below that. But what I'm looking for here is I think that if we can get into 14 here, that we should trade to the other side of this profile. So that's kind of my trade thesis here. So far, my price seems to be holding okay. Okay, so that little move was not necessarily in our favor. There was an iceberg at 14.5, and then we got bumped up. Okay. Hey, Wrong, how's it going? Nice to see you again. Glad you're enjoying this. It's a lonely trading alone. You know what I mean? Well, I'm glad that you guys are finding a useful place that you can chat and hear somebody's voice and feel like you're not just crazy And alone. I don't know. It's pulling there at 15, but they're not going for it. Okay. Not a huge offer. It is holding. And 5-year is kind of pushing down. Not the 30-year, though. Very interesting. The 30, it seems reluctant. Are we going to continue to see the longer term bonds not go down? It seems like that's been the trend. Well, the knob spread has flattened though. Like when you look at the spreads, I'll post this in the chart. That's not what I wanted. Good, it went offer again. There we go, that's good. It was a good tick that we made there. Really came through. Now, we've seen this come back a couple of times in the past few days. Yeah, see that? Any of this tug of war, but the E-mini looks like they're pushing. They're quite an aggressive move up there.
About a
Block
extension
by.
of equivalent from January 1st.
Okay, so that's not good. 3250 is not like it. But holding. I'm wondering if it's going to come back down. It's done this many times though. You see, it was in a tick range. It broke out, and then they pushed it back in, and they pushed it further. So it's kind of this action we've been seeing where I think what's happening here though is that the fundamentals, namely inflation and the stock market right now, look like a bond should fall, and somebody else, for whatever reason, because they're concerned about Brexit or something like that, is saying no, I want bonds to go up. Okay, well, there was a fairly significant downtick there. He's probably listening right now, like, don't worry, Seth, we will stop you out sooner or later. I mean, that looks really positive in the E-mini to me. Like, really high probability that they break that high. Really high probability. I mean, this is a significant move up in the E-mini that we're seeing. How far can it go? You know? And look, the 30-year is really wants to push up. Hmm. I mean, I have my stop in the right spot, but in the wrong spot because I'm gonna be right where everybody else gets stopped out. And at the same time, they're not really showing strong demand here. It looks a little weak to me. Well, there's the E-mini made a new high. Now they're really rallying. Wow. Right back down. Look at that. Go, ES, go, go. Yeah. Buy that shit. Huh? So the way that the E-mini is moving looks like short covering to me. A short covering rally is not necessarily a bad thing, just to be clear. Actually, it could be a really good thing, but it means that if we move up, it can continue to be very violent because there's people getting stopped out of positions, right? It means that the sellers have overextended, and even though we had that reversal day yesterday, they still are trying to go short, and they're getting blown out.
Will take time to.
Okay, so ZB is showing some signs of topping and turning around. Mm-mm-mm. And ES is still pushing, too. That's interesting. Look at that. It looks very positive to me. So I'm going to try to adjust my position here. Because this 15 level is not the best spot. It's turning out to be not the best spot. Mm. Okay, so I think I'm gonna try doing it like this instead. Yeah, so the problem I have right now is that if you were to get filled at 15, it's probably because the bottom of this range is falling out and they're going to go right through it. So I think I'd rather take the -1 here and see if I can get short at like 16.5.
Corbin has Blackford. Was supposed to be scheduled for this afternoon, but Blackford was expected to push for lead table and no confidence. Ask we may have prototyped him deal on 20.
Good morning, everyone. There's a lot of people watching again today. What is this, foreign exchange or stocks? Actually, I just read that it's crypto, I guess. Well, this one down here is crypto. I'm sorry I didn't see that. I don't watch the Twitch chat as much, but this is crypto. These are treasuries. So that's what we're looking at. Quite the flag here in the E-mini. Just a very gradual whoop and down. There going to be another impulse up? I don't know. But treasuries are not letting up. They're not letting us out either. ZB just wants to go up. Hmm. Okay. The book is very indecisive right now as well. But it was at 16 that there was some significant buying, so that's should probably keep that in mind.
More Brexit news now. Reports that the German CDU-CSU party caucus will be passing a motion backing the Brexit deal.
Okay, there's an iceberg there at 16.5. Hmm. Really close to getting a fill at 15.5 and it didn't happen. Very frustrating. Sure enough, and it probably took me out at the -5, yeah. Well, I think now it's better for me to just wait until equities open and see what happens. Because this particular action does not necessarily make... I wouldn't say it doesn't make sense, but it's not super positive behavior. The treasuries continue to be high. May have just been a push it up until we stop people out so that we can get short. Would not be surprised about that. The book is getting a little bit more positive though. It still looks indecisive to me, but it's favoring up. Gotta short that one. This looks like a lure to me now. Wait, the lure, but then when they took it, they put a huge bid there. Huge bid, nobody's stopping out at 17.5. I don't know. This to me kind of looks like that the buyer is trying a little bit too hard. You know what I mean? Like especially right there. There was there was a stop run between 17 and 17.5, and then when they tried to buy it again, there was a big iceberg and they fought it hard. And now even now at 17.5 they are fighting it hard, but this buyer insists on putting a huge bid at 17. If they trade back down through 17, then we could see some a more extended move to the downside. Yes. Look at that. The E-mini's buying again. This here. Well, and he's not giving in. They probably need another tick down to make the book go negative, though. Well, there's a good move down in ZB.
Minister
There's still that big order at 13, though.
back to
So there's a relatively large order at 13 in ZB. So I'm going to make a wild out there prediction. If we trade down and they hit into 13, it'll pull. They hate 13. Unlucky number. And I actually have some stats that suggest that this happens as well. Hmm. So it looks like this buyer's not giving up yet.
Irish PM for Carney withdrawal agreement drawn around the UK's red lines.
The seller still wants to sell some there too. They're putting the big bid up there again.
More from the French government previously saw the deficit excluding payroll tax or GDP. That's the overall deficit of 2%.
Nope.
Is an
Hmm. And again. Well, this right here in the E-mini, that is not the sort of thing that I would expect to see at a top. So if they move down, it will be interesting to see how it develops, but that's not something that you typically see as a top or a reversal pattern. That is like they're gonna go higher.
this tweet. You guys are still concerned. The government has the right to Hawaii flying.
The 17 half level in the 5 years also traded back and forth a lot. Rumors that US-China deal is progressing.
Action.
Disciplinary action. Just the whole idea of disciplining a country like that is just, you gonna pass economic sanctions or something? Like, come on. There would be a fine, I guess. That's what they do in the EU, right? Have fines. So the book is starting to build a little bit more significantly negative.
Will end up like France.
In the 10-year at least, not in the other two. But they are holding a good offer at 17 now. I mean, you'd have to have a really aggressive buy there at 17. Could totally flip though.
And that the bars are crucial.
All right. Maybe a lure happening there at 17. Now the seller, this action, it likes that selling at 16 half looks a little bit like a robot to me. Where's stop loss? Oh, he's going short at 27.73. I think he must mean 26.73. I don't know, because if they there could totally be another rush up here at 26.75. The treasuries are kind of hinting that maybe they will do that. We've been in this range, so is my signal triggering now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It is. It is triggering at 17. So that's one of my better short-term trades. 80% chance of trading into 16, although they did trade into 16, didn't they? No, actually, I don't see it drawing. Okay, yeah, they did. Yes. I haven't cleared 16, but 80% of 16 and 60% at 15 half. Hmm. Although I do have to admit that the E-mini looks awfully high. And it has been sitting here for way too long. Hmm. Now he's hitting it at 16. See, like that looks like a robot. Because the way that they go in is kind of like bloop, bloop. That looks like a bot, like a cell program to me.
I mean, the bill is the best available.
I don't know. They are kind of turning down here in the mini, aren't they? They're very slow, but you've still got this thing right here. So like around 2671. Holding an offer of 2,000. And they traded into that in the 5-year. They let the 5-year do it and then they pull. That's very interesting. You got to remember there was a buy down here at 16 or so. Hmm. Now it's even stronger. Now it's pumping up to 25. That gave me a little trouble there. Okay, so they're taking 15 half. Okay. Now, 15 half was the open. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Breakfast, you're just gonna leave it on, huh? Or did you already take profit on it? Yeah, that's not, it may be a point. So that move down in treasuries was pretty significant. Okay. So you are getting the profit taking there. I don't know. When I got out there, one was because I knew that I had a hard time getting filled at 15 half before, and two was because it was getting close to the equities open. So now that I'm out, I kind of wish I was still in it, but I think that when equities open, you might see some selling, and they might give us a good price. So. Yeah. It puts us at plus or -2, right? Yep, -2. But really, it should be like +1 because this one should have been was only going to be -1. But we didn't get filled. Could have been so much better. Oh well. Actually could have taken it off at a profit at one point, huh? Well, they may actually just move up higher, too. I guess I need to consider that possibility, too. Because we just ticked up higher, and it kind of looks like whoever it was that was buying everything at 17 is not giving up.
Energy news now. U.S. government officials saying the U.S. is urging EU nations to exit the NS2 pipeline.
Sleepiness is coming on again, guys. I think you do not know what you do. Well, then why are you watching? Why would you bother talking to me then if that's what you think? Yeah. Love it. Love when the trolls come in. And why do you listen to news? Well, the news is really important, I think. Because we can tell what's driving it, right? Well, right now, today, they don't really seem to be reacting a whole lot to news, do they? Even the PPI, I mean, we got a good trade out of the PPI, but it only went 2 ticks in our favor. And then it kind of was not able to get out, so... Yeah. I mean, the thing is if you have something better, then show us some statements. Otherwise, I think you're full of shit. They gonna take 16 again? I think they might want to go back to that 16 in ZB. I mean, I always like to play with it a little bit. Are you copying Ace's names? It could be somebody trolling. You know, we get those guys like Trade the Traders. He cannot help himself. I don't know what the deal is. I'm an institutional trader. Well, if you're an institutional trader, then you should tell us where you work so that we can report you to the SEC, because doing what you're doing right now is a violation of law. Don't play that bullshit with me, dude. I worked at a large bank. I'm not trading, but in technology. I know the rules. And what you're doing right now, you're not supposed to do. So you're either full of shit, or you should be, fined significantly. But that's okay. It's always entertainment to see people like that come in. Okay, so there's the open. There was some pretty significant buy volume on the open. They're not making a new high yet, though. They could do it. not so sure that they're going to give us a better price than 16. And if I put something at 16, I'm not sure it would get filled. And you're a douche, yeah. Douche canoe. uh, let's see here. So here comes the selling that I was looking for. So it's kind of a question of how many are actually going to pile on here. Oh, okay. So this guy is a different account, and it's actually 2 years old, and it's Russian. So he's not, probably not actually an institutional trader. Okay. I have to say, pretty significant selling there. I don't know if the sellers are going to be successful in dragging it down, but the treasury traders definitely bid it up on that, didn't they? And they're not taking a whole lot of volume to trade it up either. You're right. I'm joking, but trading like that is a big risk. Okay. We got him. I don't know if it's gonna. Well, there's always a risk in trading, but it's not. We're not just taking random shots in the dark, right? We have statistical reasons to be taking the trades that we do. There's still a lot of discretion involved, though. Lately, I've been doing okay on that part, but it's always you always have good runs and bad runs. Okay, so there was the very aggressive buying coming back in there, but treasuries are still bid. I don't know if I wanted to go short 17 there. That's kind of for them to come up the way that they did and everything is kind of. There's a reasonable chance that they break out that 17.5, even if just to stop people out. But it looks like it's going to go down. Yeah. If you're so good, then shut your face and move on. Oh, you mean a trader talking to ASIC? Yeah. Well, that's what I say is like if you're gonna talk shit, then post statements. Because you know what, we have people in Discord. They post statements. I know that they do well, and we listen to them. But some idiot just comes in and starts throwing insults at people and stuff. That's somebody that's probably not profitable, probably not worth listening to. And it's really just a question of how long until we stop deriving entertainment value out of it and we ban them is generally how that works. So they're going back and forth at 17 quite a bit, but the E-mini is just being really kind of grindy here. I'm thinking about maybe trying to pull a tick out. No, I don't like that uptick. Yeah. So Treasury's gonna get above the 17.5 level now? Mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes we need a distraction though, right? Right now, I think I need a distraction because I really, really want to click that dom, but I don't. I don't actually see an edge here. It feels to me like um, Treasury should be moving down today. I really thought that we would get below that 12.5 level, but I mean they're bid right now. The book looks bid, not in the 5 year, but everywhere else. And I mean, the E-mini had a really good run this morning, so why wouldn't they sell it? And treasuries are definitely reacting more to the down moves in the E-mini than they are the up moves. So I don't think that that gives us a very good setup to go short here. Mm. Yeah, this could continue to go up. I don't think that I mean, I even though I think it goes up, it's not really a trade I can take because the risk reward on it isn't very good, but I just don't see a short here. I actually, where I got out at 15.5, I could have reversed there. And if I had reversed there, then maybe I could be holding it to see if they decide to bust it at 18, but because that's not how it played out. That sell right there in the E-mini was a little bit more aggressive. Explain how's the market because I don't understand anything. I don't think he's there anymore. You just gotta watch for a really long time, right? Not something that you're gonna understand in 5 minutes. Hmm. So they're pushing. There's some absorption here at the bottom of this range, but it's maybe a little bit much. I wonder if the mini is going to take a dive here now. Yeah. Oh hey, look, they saved it. They did not break 17.5. Although that does leave it unfinished. I mean, that 17 still just goes bid too much. I don't think I could just sell 17 and try and get back out at 16.5, for instance. Probably be too hard.
They choose.
Hmm. Oh, hey, that's funny. Yeah. I posted in, I joined a couple of Facebook groups the other day, so I posted it in one of them, telling them, hey, it looks like a bunch of longs got stopped out overnight because it were really pushed up there. And Patrick Rooney liked the post, so I think he recognized me posting in the group. He's a good guy. I like him. Not that he interacts with us too much, but I'm still glad that we have him in there. Do you believe Bitcoin will keep going down? I do. I believe that there is not true support in Bitcoin until 2000, if that.
Says Juncker has been in permanent contact with PMA. Not PMA.
Hmm. And anyways, my prediction has been that Bitcoin will reach 2000, but it may take until around May for it to get there. And if you want to keep up on that, I post charts every day on my Patreon page. So if you're a subscriber, you get daily updates to that, and I have a evaluation indicator.
Saying that each summit will pass Brexit.
Mag profits, I lost 4K already. Oh man, don't tell me that. Ugh. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'll show you the chart here, okay? Actually, let's generate it right now. I usually generate it at the end of my session, but I'll just.
Earlier to found the
11. So today's value is 73. So here it is. So basically, this is showing a price to value ratio. And when you're at 50, that's kind of where the Bitcoin ecosystem supports price. And when you get above 100, we're in a bubble. And when you get to 150, above 150, that is like crash imminent. Now, of course, you do kind of get these ones like this one and this one, where you get crash imminent, but the buyers try and hold it. Because what's happening is you had the big run, and now it's come back. And so there's lots of bulls thinking that it's going to make another run higher. And really what has to happen is everybody has to get washed out of the market. This right here is everybody getting washed out before it can make another bull run. So this time they tried really, really hard, but you can see they felt it pretty hard, didn't they?
says will assess French budget again spring. Telling her parliament further negotiation.
So that's where I say when it was in oh man, where was it? Like January or February, and it hit this 50. I bought it. And then when we got to this 100 right here, that's when we're getting in a bubble, and so I sold it at like 10. So I took for like 6k to 10k, and that was the last trade that I took. And then there was this whole thing, and I was like, well, it's overvalued to stay out. So I'm waiting for my indicator to get below 50 again. And right now, when I do the math, that's about 2,000. May actually go a little bit further than 2,000, would not surprise me. But you're going to see everybody's going to lose. That's how it works, is like anybody that's long has to get out. Yeah, people are still buying it at 33. They don't let it drop. Yes. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is it's kind of like, if I were to draw a picture of it here, you know, like, so here's price, right? Then we did this, and we did this, and now we're doing this, right? What if we were to draw another graph of just people's interest in Bitcoin, right? Well, it was going up right here, and it was actually still kind of going up through the downturn, and then a bunch of people bought, and then you kind of get in this. So if interest is on the downtrend, where are the new buyers going to come in, right? So what's happening is we have a certain number of people in the market, and they're all buying it here, so you get a little bit of a bounce. But then once they've all bought it, that's everybody that's in the market now, and there's no reason for new people to come into the market right now. So eventually those guys are going to sell, and when they do, it goes lower. And where I get this from is really just you watch the what's going on in the treasuries here. So like what's happened this morning is actually a really good example. Was like we had a bunch of people that wanted to sell, and I was one of them. So we all sold it here. And you can see when we got here, it was like everybody that wanted to sell had done so, and it wasn't enough to push price lower. So now what has to happen? They have to all get out. And even though there wasn't a whole lot of buying to get them up there, we're already back up. So what you start to have happen is a divergence in cumulative delta. Does that make sense? I know that was cumulative delta is all market buys minus all market sells.
Sources, government, parliament, right? Through.
I don't know how far this is going to go up, but you know, so now you've got all of these people that are short, and they're just kind of on the edge, and now there's a possibility that that line breaks, and if it does, then there's all those people are going to get stopped out. That's why the pattern that you will see, especially on the downside, is something like this. Whoosh.
Actually saying the Senate.
Yeah. The future says cumulative delta cannot tell the future. Now that is true. It's cumulative delta is kind of more of a setup, because when you get something, the delta alone doesn't tell the future, especially on a very short-term basis. Like here in Treasuries, like if I see a divergence, that doesn't necessarily tell me which one is going to win. But in Bitcoin, because we can see every transaction, and because you can do the math and you can see where the interest is and things like that, you actually could go and calculate everybody's positions and predict exactly what's going to happen. So, and what I do is just a very, very rough approximation of that. So Like I would say 60 to 70% chance that it's going to get down to 2000. Will Ethereum survive? I think so. I mean, I don't see any reason why Ethereum would not continue to do well and lead the market. I mean, if anything, Ethereum is really well positioned now that the market is a little bit more regulated. We get some good tokens next time around that actually do stuff that are useful, and people do the ICOs and they do them the right way through the new laws and regulations that they have set up. It's going to be really good. Yeah, well, so wait, it cannot tell the future in ZN, so it cannot tell the future in Bitcoin. I mean, so always on a short-term basis, that's not necessarily true. Right. Sorry, let me rephrase that. On a short-term basis, cumulative delta is not very reliable. On a short-term basis. On a long-term basis, it becomes more reliable, but why would it not be like exact? Because you can't actually predict when new people are going to come in, right? Like in Treasuries, there's no way for us to know if all of a sudden here new people that are interested in going short treasuries or going long treasuries are going to come in here. It's very difficult to predict future demand. That's always the wild card. Like, I can look at current demand, I can look at current supply, but I cannot predict the future. I can see it when it comes in, but I can't predict what those are going to be in the future. But in Bitcoin, you kind of can. Roughly. I just know that there's not going to be as many people interested in cryptocurrencies in 2019 as there was in 2017. So why would it stop here? And it follows that indicator, like, literally. I mean, it's almost never been wrong. I think there's a few places where it's a little bit fuzzy, but generally speaking, if you buy that when it's below 50 and sell it when it's above 100, you make money. You make good money. So yeah, that's the Patreon. So you subscribe to that, and you can actually still see the charts. Even if you don't subscribe, you just don't see them until maybe it's too late. So, and I've had a good I think 20 subscribers now for a year, really consistent, so they find it really useful. I've heard stories of people losing their homes and marriages over Bitcoin. Yeah. Well, I hope that 4K was 4K that you could afford to lose, right? I don't think it's gonna fill me here. Yeah. Anyways, you're asking Ethereum. The one that is a big question in my mind is Bitcoin Cash, because
Exxon planning to.
this whole fork thing is really damaged the market as a whole, but then Bitcoin Cash as well. Bitcoin Cash is actually oversold right now, but it's kind of hard to buy it when the larger market is still indicating down. But I'm sorry that happened that way. I bought at 17 and I sold at 13. But why did you buy at 17? See, the question you gotta ask yourself is, what do I know that tells me that a particular price is going to hold or not? So I took that one because there was an iceberg. And they traded through the iceberg, and now they're holding a pretty good bid there. So I think that that trade has already been invalidated. Yeah. I may just have to go off a -2 here. Oh, it went to 19K and I kept holding. Oh man. Getting a little volatile here, isn't it? I actually could have scratched that one at break even. I think that kind of tells us though that I need to get more conservative here. They're not trying to be scary, they're slipping it around. So somebody may actually have an edge to take it somewhere, but we don't know what it is, and they're trying to frustrate people to get them to, so they can get filled more. Yeah, see you later when price crashes. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, check out the Patreon if you haven't. It's I it's $5, right? But like and I do make some money off of it, and I appreciate the people that subscribe. But the purpose was not to make money, right? The purpose is to get something that I think is a critical piece of information out there. Eventually, the edge won't work anymore because everybody will know it, and the price will just stay within that range, and then Bitcoin will be much more stable. But if Bitcoin is much more stable, then that's worth a lot more at that point, right? Because you've solved one of the bigger problems with it. So that's why I do it, and we put a price on it because that people are willing to pay for it month after month inspires confidence in people that come along, that they see, okay, there are actually a good number of people that have found this useful and believe in it. So it's not just some crazy guy. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see if there's some kind of an iceberg at 18.5 too. But there's just not a lot of volume going through here right now. We are kind of at a spot where it could stop, though. I mean, at 19 was a significant line of resistance before as well. Hmm. So I'm just noticing that as we've been kind of pushing up, that the euro has been moving down. Oil has been moving up. Hold on a second, I don't want to. There we go. Hmm.
Spending.
You were a strong contender, but the competition on Twitch is a hazard. There is literally a 24/7 defragmentation screen that is the pro game, and I am not sure you are ready for that just yet. He's saying that I'm not actually the most boring stream on Twitch. That might, if there is literally a stream that just shows a hard drive defragmenting 24/7, then then you're probably right. Probably not the most boring stream on Twitch. Yeah, I don't like the way that I got filled there.
It's just companion diagram.
Mm. Well, the E-mini has held these prices really well. I don't know if they really have the fuel to move up higher, but if they have a pullback, it's not necessarily going to be like careening down. So I'm not sure I understand why treasuries want to be up here. They are kind of coming back, aren't they? Ooh. Guess that one worked. I'll just put that up there again if it's possible. I'm not so sure that it's possible to get filled there again, though. Mm-hmm. So here we are again. I don't like the way that I got filled on that. Okay, so now they are really selling it.
closely telling it.
Okay. That's kind of an arbitrary number. Is that because that's what they're asking for? Should have puked out, but there's an iceberg here, so I'm kind of waiting to see if there's another impulse down, or if the E-mini buys here. It doesn't look like they're going to. Okay. Well, I think I took a little bit too much risk on that one.
See you. Seen anything?
No, it just looks like a technical move. Well, so 19.5 would be an interesting place to try. I think I'm probably done for the day, though.
Michael seeing no way to amend the UK's exit board accord.
Okay, Merkel. Because they gave an amendment, right? Was that the backstop is not permanent. They wanted like an expiration time on it or something like that. That's not reasonable. I think you should just tell them to go to hell. I don't know.
Use Coca.
It's a Brexit thing is hard because it's really truly something that I don't understand. I have to admit that, right? I don't really understand European politics, but then every time that I hear it, I'm just what I hear makes me mad. And I think a short here would maybe be okay, but they're already kind of backing off of it. I don't think that anything in the book really favors a buy here. You could have done it at 19.5, but now it's pulled back. And now that it's pulled back, I think that I'd need to see like 17.5 to maybe go long. I don't think I would want to go short anymore. That probably means that the treasuries actually are going to come off now. Say hi to Pete. He is controlling my PC from Jigsaw. Hi, Pete. He needs to come in and hang out with us sometimes. What should happen is the Jigsaw trading room, they should move off of that weird software that he has and move over to Discord. That's what should really happen. Don't you think? Discord is just a much better piece of software. And it's totally capable of doing what they need. And they should set it up like what we have, where you have different product types.
This go.
Well. Paul Ryan, on his way out, finally has some balls, huh? That was a little uncalled for on my part, but come on. Like, why didn't he say that like the last 3 budget fights? I don't understand. I bet you that if we had a programmatic way of listing out all those things that I mentioned where we are on the valuation model, what the overall cumulative delta on the exchanges are, like, and it would have to be like cumulative, like all of the exchanges, and we used some sort of indicator to judge the trend of social media interest. I think you could probably predict those price levels with 80% accuracy.
Both Brexit.
There would have been 3 ticks right there. Well, it sucks that I sold at 17.5. Like, trying to get 1 tick was probably not the best place to be doing it. Well, I mean, look right here. So, like, we were like right here, right? So I thought we could get from there to there, and then it did that. So that kind of happens. We should have puked earlier, but that happens sometimes. And then, of course, I tried getting short here. But it just didn't quite take the way that I wanted to, so I didn't take it. So missed opportunity on that one. And of course, the first one that was right way back here, it was this one right here. That one was not the best trade. Yeah, it was actually even earlier than that. It was like right there. Yeah. It dipped down. We saw the pressure, but then it ended like right then and there. And then for whatever reason, they've been buying it up ever since. I'm not quite sure what their I'm not quite sure why they're buying treasuries, but you know, like here's the thing: the E-mini had a strong sell. They're basically back to where they were before the sell, and they're still actually a little bit higher because we were getting down into this 16.5 area. We're at 17.5. We're 2 ticks higher. So there's definitely something going on. You know what? There is a treasury auction today. I wonder if that's affecting things. Let's see here. Upcoming auctions. The 11 is the announcement date. Yes, we have 3-year notes. So that's what's going on. And that one, that 19.5, if I had gotten it, would have been one of the better trades today. I have to go back and watch and see why I didn't take that one. I put an order in, didn't I? Yeah, I put an order in. No, that's not right. 19 filled. So I thought about it, but I never actually put one in because I wasn't sure. I think what happened was I saw that liquidity at 20 and I thought maybe I could go short at 19.5, but it traded in to it, and it only did it like once. And so then I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually short 19, but it would have been safe to short 19. So mistakes were made. Unfortunate. You know what though? It's just kind of the way I've been feeling. I'm not surprised that I'm having trouble today. I don't know. I had a really good read yesterday, but I have been feeling a little bit more like impulsive and not as attentive, you know? So I'll do something about that tomorrow. It wasn't a disaster though. Actually, if it wasn't for that last one, we would have been okay. I probably could have made it up, but just made the wrong read. 1 or 2 trades. Okay, so it is now 8:30, so I'm gonna go and post the Bitcoin notes. So if you've subscribed to the Patreon, you can check that out in like 10 minutes. And I'll keep this going as long as I can, but I'll, probably be heading out in about 15 minutes. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them now, and otherwise I'll see you tomorrow.
Honor is saying the UK possible.
Okay. Yep, I would say CA's trade saying bye. Yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. I wish we'd done better today, but I just didn't quite make that. I mean, it wasn't a disaster. So I feel I what I do like is that on a losing day, there was still some good trades. That one I was able to limit the damage on. That one was pretty bad, run against me. And sometimes that just happens, and so that one's not necessarily bad. That one shouldn't have happened though. Because really to have that to go against me, that had to, that was like 6. So that's not acceptable. That should have been only -2. Then we'd be in a different, maybe we've been in a different spot. But it's still progress. So, yeah. Anyways, I will see you guys Wednesday. Might be interesting. What do we have on the docket? I don't think we have. Well, we have CPI. Okay, so tomorrow's even more important number. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
$50 billion of